T-shirts and stuff.
Okay. All right, it's Musicians in Bars Getting Beer, and I got Pat and
Stefan
from the Walkervilles. Tell me about your band.
We're the Walkervilles, and we're from Windsor, Ontario, and we are a soul, R&B, pop influenced band, and we really take a lot of influence from Motown, Detroit, and the music that was being made right across the river from where we live, you know, about 40 years ago, something like that. And,
yeah.
You know, it's a spirit that still lives on in the area, and our love of that kind of music and our passion for playing that kind of music kind of brought us together for this project.
Right on, yeah, really smooth guitar. And Stefan, you're the drummer?
Yes, I am.
How'd you guys meet?
Well, actually, we've known each other for a very long time. The bassist and I had been playing together for about 12 years and in and out of different bands. And then we hooked up with Pat down the line, and it's more when our last project started fizzling away and we were trying to figure out what the hell to do. And, you know, sitting across from the river going like, fuck, we grew up next to Motown. We got to get into it, man.
Right on. Yeah, really like the plan and the style. And so who writes the tunes?
The man that's absent right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mike.
okay.
Mike is a very prolific songwriter.
Right, so Mike's your bass player?
Yeah, he is, and it's kind of interesting how that came to be because, like, when we first started the band, we were like literally like looking across the river. Just, you know, we have a lot of love for Motown and Detroit, so we thought, let's do a Motown cover show. You know, like let's just learn some Motown songs, have a good time, you know, throw a show. And, you know, a bunch of our friends came out and it turned into a huge dance party, a lot of fun. So one show led to two. And then by about the third show, I remember Mike, you know, we got together to rehearse, you know, a couple songs. And he was like, listen, I got this song I wrote that's kind of like Motown, but it's kind of unique too. And maybe it's something we could throw in the mix. Yeah. And that was just like, you know, after that first song, we weren't interested in playing any other, you know, cover songs or anybody else's material. And then it just kind of snowballed. And, the band started, and it was like a rug pulled out from under us too, because like it just kind of took off quicker than we were expecting. Like we were doing it just for fun, and we made a record at this like old historic building in Windsor that we rented out and built like this little studio in. And
cool.
Steph's really talented in that world, and like, you know, we got a record made and put it out. Like it was all just sort of innocent, just for fun, to have these hometown shows for a good time. And before we knew it, it was like, oh well, there's a demand for us to go here, or then there, and then there, and there, and then, you know, we got our first Canadian tour, and then we started, you know, made another record down in Austin, and then we just made another record in New York, and it's kind of all happened pretty quick over the last few years. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So do you want to talk gear or anything, Stefan? What's in your studio?
Well, the studio is actually pretty minimal what we're using. It's just Pro Tools rig, you know, simple Pro Tools rig with the Octapre preamp, you know, nothing crazy. We like to record with less, you know, like less mics, less rack gear to worry about. Not to say I don't like all the gear, but
one thing we try to do too, like we try to not wear headphones when we record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's just like, I forget who was telling us this story, but there's like a legendary Motown story or an interview or something like that going on, and I think it was the engineer for Motown at the time was being asked about, you know, when do you feel like the spirit of that music died? Like when did that disappear? And his thought was, you know, when recorded music started happening with headphones on, so much was lost, you know, and in doing it in the spirit of what was going on then, and emulating that and trying to record without those like aspects of technology, it's kind of cool, man. It like lends itself to just feeling more natural. And
cool. Yeah. So do you want to drop any names, like who you worked with, producers wise, or anything like that?
Like that first record we did on our own, you know, and then that kind of like, you know, we started getting out and playing. One of the guys we played with a lot over the years, starting out, was Kelly Hoppy. He also goes by Mr. Chill, and he's in a band called Big Sugar.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, through that connection, and like, you know, Kelly and I lived on the same street for years and stuff, so it's like that kind of came naturally. But we'd never met like Big Sugar or seen Big Sugar or any of that stuff, but then that relationship kind of started to head that way. Like Gordy Johnson came out to a couple shows and really dug it and said, you know, you guys should come down to Austin and let's make this record. So he works at a Willie Nelson studio there, so we went down there, and it was really, really cool. And then, you know, that record led us to, you know, get some management and things like that, and sort of expand the team. And then we linked up with a producer in New York. His name's Commissioner Gordon. He also goes by Gordon Williams, and you know, he's done a ton of great stuff. I mean, like in terms of the music that we love and what we're going for, Kamish has done, you know, Amy Winehouse records and Lauryn Hill records and Alicia Keys records, and yeah, so that was our latest recording experience in New York. And
great cover of Valerie today, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
So tell me about some other fun stuff, like something fun from the road. Should I go to Stefan here?
Yeah.
Tell us something
Like, what's a
from
good
the
fun
road.
story, man?
Something
The
from
transmission blowing up?
Okay.
Oh my God, our first tour. It was our first tour as a band. We hooked, like, we got really lucky and set up with a tour with Tedeschi Trucks Band.
Oh yeah.
And just phenomenal band. Still to this
Sure.
date, one of my favorite shows I've ever. I mean, we got to see it 9 nights, but it was this tour started out on the West Coast in Vancouver. We're from Windsor, so we have to naturally drive out west to start the tour.
Okay.
But we didn't make it out west. Even like, how long did it take us? 3 days? Something? 4 days?
It was like a solid 3 days.
Yeah, and
of driving for sure. I think we were into day 2.
and day 2, and we got past Winnipeg, and it was around Brandon, Manitoba, about 100 kilometers outside of Brandon, Manitoba. Our transmission explodes, and it's like 2 in the morning, minus 16, 17 out, and we made it. Mike, join the party, man.
Soul Brother
Yeah,
Mike.
Soul Brother Mike, the writer.
Right on. Okay. Well, let's finish this.
Yeah.
Transmission
So
blowing up.
it was. Oh yeah. So Brandon, our transmission explodes. Kabam! And
One-lining.
it was. It was funny because before we left on this trip, all of our girlfriends' wives are going, still need CAA. You guys need CAA, and you put that shit off until your transmission explodes at 2 in the morning, and we ended up getting towed. And I think it took about 24 hours before we actually figured everything out. The van was going to stay in Brandon to get repaired. They gave us a rental van, drove out west, did the West Coast side, came back through Brandon, picked up our beauty, and drove it back all the way out east to Halifax.
But wait,
So-
there's more to this story
Okay.
that we're telling. Okay, so we're just so damn excited because this is a huge tour. Our first cross Canada tour, our first tour period with a Grammy Award-winning band. That's unbelievable. So we're just so excited. We got to get to Vancouver. We're on such a tight timeline with this drive, and like when the tranny blows, it's like I think it was 2 in the morning. And it was minus 18, and when the guy picked us up in the tow truck, he said, listen, there's a shop that can fix your car, and they open at 7, but if I drop your car outside of the gates, you know, you're gonna get locked in. Anyway, long story short, we had to sleep in the car, and it was minus 20. We're like wrapped up, you know, and we wake up at 7, and we bring it in. We still don't know what's gone on, right? We don't know that it's a blown transmission. The story is coming to an abrupt end.
Yeah.
But man, we wait around all morning when they told us you've never seen 3 grown men cry.
That's awesome. Okay, well maybe we should cut it short.
Okay,
We'll talk
that's
another
great.
time.
Yeah.
But, thanks for being on
Peace
Musicians
out.
in Bars Getting Beer, guys.
Much love.
Cheers. All the best.
Peace and
to you.
love, man, from
Yeah,
the
man.
Walkervilles.
Happy
Soul
career.
Brothers out now.
Cheers.